Hi friends, welcome to Strike. In this video, we will learn how to trade stock options using Strike platform. The setup we would be discussing is for option buying, wherein we'll use Bollinger Bands and options open interest as a combination to identify stocks to trade. We will be using hourly time frame charts and the holding period for trade will be 1 to 3 days. Bollinger Bands. Bollinger Bands are standard deviation bands centered around a moving average. The standard settings for Bollinger Bands in any software is 2 standard deviation around 20 SMA. As you can see in this picture, Bollinger Bands typically follow a cyclical routine of expansion and contraction. The band narrows when the market is sleepy and widens when the price goes wild. For options buying, we would prefer to enter into the period where band starts widening. Now let us touch upon some basics of options open interest. Options open interest is the number of outstanding contracts written on a particular strike price of any stock or index. As you know, options open interest has only two stages, the short built up and the short covering. When open interest rises in any strike price, be it a pull or a call, we call it short built up. And when the open interest reduces, it is a short covering. The strikes with maximum open interest acts as support and resistance. Like if you could see on this Nifty option chain chart, we can broadly say that the range of Nifty for next few days will be between 22,000 to 23,000 because 22,000 put and the 23,000 call is the strike price where maximum open interest has been accumulated. The inner range would be somewhere between 22,500 and 22,800 where the next level of accumulation has happened. Once these boundaries break, we could see fast and significant price movement. So basically, Bollinger Bands expansion and break of open interest range. That is our today's criteria for identifying the momentum in stocks and timing the entry of trade. Now let us see how Strike can help us in identifying such stocks. For that, we'll go to the Strike platform. If you see here, let us first understand the Bollinger Bands on the live chart. So we have opened a Bhel chart on hourly time frame. So you could see there is a period of consolidation from here to here, and the price is just moving within that range because the bands are contracting. And when the bands start expanding, the price started moving higher. So we want to enter right at this place where the bands are about to explode. Now for that we need a scanner. In Strike Discover section, we go to scanners. In the technical scanner, under Bollinger Bands, we have early bands widening signal. Now there are different baskets, but since we are concerned more of for an options trade, we will use FNO basket as our stock list. We will use, as I told you, we will use only hourly charts and the scanner early bands widening signal. This scanner will throw a list of stocks with at that point of time on an hourly chart the bands have started expanding. Like here in this CUB, the band has started expanding. Previously also on 7th May at 9:15 a.m. the band started expanding and the price moved lower. So we would ideally like to enter at this level. Now second part of our setup is options open interest, which we will go to analyze options, and the screen we will be using is Strike OI Insights. In this screen, you will there are two main things which are of interest to us. One is the highest open interest. Highest open interest both for CE strike and the PE strike. The second, which is of interest, is the interpretation. In this interpretation column, we are seeing that there are five basic criteria: above resistance, below support, neutral, near resistance, near support. So the concept is same, that the price which is within the range created by the highest open interest strikes is either neutral or near resistance or near support. Once this boundary is broken, or let's say when the call open interest is start reducing, the identification comes to above resistance, and or in the other case when the put open interest starts reducing, the identification comes as below support. So in this screen, we will be using only above resistance and below support. So now the process, what will follow? Uh, there is a two-way process of identifying a trade. The first one is for those who are usually analyzed at the end of the day. So there, our first step would be, step one would be to analyze open interest first, and then the Bollinger Bands expansion. Second process is for the live market, wherein we scan based on Bollinger Bands expansion, and simultaneously we see movement in their open interest, right? So what we see in the open interest, in this we would ideally like to have, let's first see the above resistance. We will ideally look for short covering in the call side. When the interpretation is above resistance, we will look at the covering in the short side, like for this, in this case, Bharat Forge and Godrej Properties, consumers, right? For below support, we will look covering in the put side, right? And then once we have identified these stocks, we go to the charts. Say we have seen a Bharat Forge, right? We go to its chart, only the hourly chart, and we see how the price has moved. So if you could see here, there was a long period of consolidation on an hourly chart since 25th of April. It was slow and grinding down move, but this would ideally be a consolidation because bands are contracting, right? And then the bands started exploding on 8th May from 12:15 candle, right? Right now, the bands are enough widened, and there is again a possibility that it can go on contracting. So once the bands, if the bands are expanding, in addition to our open interest identification, we enter that trade as soon as the bands expand. Like for here, we would have entered near 1280, and then a 4 to 6% move, right? So let us see some trades which we have taken in the past. The first trade is for Aarti Industries. This is based on the first process where open interest is analyzed at end of day and the price is captured, or the trade is captured next day. So if you see on the 9th of April, the open interest showed break of resistance of 700 with a 29% reduction in open interest of the call. Next day morning, After the initial 1 hour of trade, the band started expanding. And once the band started expanding, coupled with the reduction in call open interest, we saw a 4% further move. So out of the say we of 2% move, we could have captured 4%. Out of the 6% move, we could have captured 4% move, right? Second trade is for the process which is based on Ballinger band expansion scanner. So we go to scanners, Bollinger Band scanner, identify the stocks, and then see the open interest accumulation. In this case, UBL gave a scanner signal on 24th morning, right? Once the scanner was gave a signal, we went to the open interest chart and we saw that the call side open interest had started reducing. Basically, the boundary created as resistance started to weaken and started to break. And this resulted in explosive move. Right? So, ideally, these such moves are not common, but 3 to 4% move is what we normally get. Right? Now, let us see how we trade actually with a live trade which we took on the 8th of May. So we took a escort trade. So if you see on 7th May, I'll show you live on this strike platform. On 7th May end of day, this is 7th May end of day data. If you see escorts is above resistance, 3461 is above resistance with a 8% dip in open interest of the call. Next day morning, what happened? After the initial, we'll open the chart. Here it is. So next day morning, this is 8th May, first candle. After the initial dip, the price rose and reached the upper Bollinger Band. Now once that level started getting broken after 1 hour of consolidation, the band started expanding. So at this candle, the band started expanding. Here you can see the marked candle. And we entered the trade and the price then moved up. Now the question is how we will trade it. We trade based on the options price, ATM option price. So in this escorts case, we have identified the 3500 call because the price to be broken was 3493. So ATM strike of 3500 we say. The entry level was the 144, 145. And the stop loss for the trade will be the nearest swing low of that options price chart. Please note, it will not be the swing low of the stock price chart or the underlying price chart. It will be the swing low of the options price chart on 5-minute chart. So the stop loss on this basis in this case was 121. And then when the bands expanded and the price moved, we saw 3500 call also going from 145 to 185. So, but profit booking and trailing stop loss you will have to do as per your own risk appetite. So this was the basic setup. I'll again summarize. We combine strike OI insights, and there we see the reduction in open interest in the highest open interest strike prices with the filter of above resistance and below support, and we see Bollinger Bands expansion. we would suggest that you analyze and observe for few days before taking any plunge into the trading. Thank you.